Australia versus South Korea. Which is more superior?
My name is Ellie,
And my name is Camille.
and today we will be focusing on economy, demographics, and social questions.
We are answering these questions. How much does an average person earn?
What is the total population?
And what are the requirements for school?
First, let's start with economy.
The first question is, how much money do people make per year in Australia?
Well, Australians make up to 68,585 Australian dollars per year, which would make people's average hour salary $32.69. On to the second question for economy.
How much money do people make weekly? The average salary Australians make is around $1,310 per week, which equals to around 68,585 Australian dollars.
Time for the South Korea questions for economy.
How much money do people make per year in South Korea? Koreans make up to 55,350 Korean won, which is $62.29 in Australian dollars.
Won is the national currency of South Korea. Its users denote the won by using the symbol as in 1,000 won since 1950.
How much money do they make weekly? The average person's salary is 6.31 million Korean won weekly, which is 7,099.45 in Australian dollars.
Now let's continue with economy. The first question is, how much money do men make weekly in Australia? How much money do women make weekly in Australia?
The average weekly salary for women is about 1,609 cents in Australian dollars, which equals to about 1,429 and 923 Korean won. The second question is, how much do men make weekly in Australia?
In Australia, the average weekly salary for men is about 1,872.90 in Australian dollars, which equals to about 1,663,864 and 59 Korean won.
Now time for the South Korea questions.
How much money do women make weekly? Women in South Korea make around 2.48 million Korean won weekly, which is around 2,677 and 95 cents in Australian dollars. Women's hourly salary is in South Korea is about 3,791 per hour, which is $4.27 in Australian dollars. How much money do men make weekly in this? How much money do men make weekly?
Men make around 3.83 million South Korean won per week, which in Australian dollars is 4,291.61, which their hourly salary would be 9,621, which would equal to about $10.83 Australian dollars.
Now let's move on to demographics. So let's start off with Australia.
What's the first question you ask?
Well, it is, what is the total population? In Australia, there is around 25.69 million people in this whole country.
Can you believe it? Now time for the second question.
How many babies, teens, adults, and elders in Australia?
In Australia, there's about 4,836,227 children,
151,000 babies,
1,457,803 teens,
about 19,000 adults, and about 4.2 million elders. Now let's move on to South Korea.
The total population in South Korea is about 51.74 million people.
In South Korea, there is about 7.48 million children,
1 million babies,
8.15 million teens,
51, 51 51,715 and 715,162 adults.
and about 8.5 million elders. We all know school is important, so we need to know the requirements for school.
The requirements for school in Australia is you need to be between the age turning 5 to 17/18 to go to school. We have 13 years divided as primary, kindy to grade 6, and year 7 to grade 12.
Do you want to know how much schools there are in Australia? Well, there are about 9,581 schools in Australia, including South Australia, Western Australia, New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania, Victoria, and Northern Territory.
Now let's move on to South Korea. Schools in South Korea: 6 years of elementary school, 3 years in middle school, and 3 years in high school, which equals to a total of 12 years of school.
South Korea's government wants children to be properly educated, so in South Korea they have around 20,000 schools, which is way more than Australia. Now let's continue with social.
What are the requirements for school?
The question is, how many Catholic, public, and private schools are there in Australia? In Australia, there is about 1.24 thousand Catholic schools
2.1 thousand public schools.
and about 1,187 private schools.
Can you believe it? That is a lot of schools. In South Korea, they don't really have Catholic schools, but they have Christian instead.
They have around 4,566 Christian schools, 8.5 thousand public schools, 6.3 private schools, and 6.3 private schools. Wow, that is way more than Australia. Can you believe it?